I know that some girls said that like, well, he's just not the right one. But if you want to make yourself marriage material, and if you want to be the right one for him, that you should make those sacrifices.
Have you had any bad experiences? Or like some people are just a little inappropriate or anything like that?
Yeah, I've had like a photographer want like sexual stuff and like pay me more for sexual stuff.
You mean he wants to take photographs of you doing sexual stuff?
To him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sexual stuff to him?
Yes.
Okay, please expound.
Like sex, like,
okay.
And I told him, no, I'm not doing that.
Was it one of these things? We haven't got to this, but you have an OF, and he assumed because you had an OF that you would do something like this.
Yeah, in my OF, I have never done like boy girl content.
You haven't done a nudity on your OF, have you?
I've done some nudity.
Okay.
But I have retracted from that.
Yeah.
And that happened through a guy I was dating, and I actually am really appreciative of him, kind of bringing that back to my senses. I lost myself for a little bit after my ex and I broke up. I never thought I would lose that relationship. He was somebody that was really close to me. But no, I never done boy-girl content. And that photographer definitely assumed that I would do that. And he offered me a couple grand for a night with him and doing content, which would probably go on his OF. And that he would utilize that. Definitely said no.
You gotta tell me later who this was. I have to know who the fuck this was.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah, no, I mean the assumption. Kylie, have you ever had any like weird situations happen?
I've had a photographer ask if he could touch my boobs because he said he's never touched fake boobs before.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, what?
I'm the same way. I've never touched them, so I'm still trying to learn. I think they're like bags of sand is what I've heard. Yeah. That's essentially what I've heard. But anything else? Any other kind of weird thing?
I know. I have a photographer. There's this one photographer that asked me to like do stuff with girls sometimes, and I'm like, I don't have an fan, so like it would just be absolutely pointless to try to like do this like content work with somebody. Like it's not even gonna benefit me at all. Like why would I do that? It's such a waste of time.
I saw a girl do that once to piss her boyfriend off.
Oh my
and
God.
She doesn't even OF, and she did a guy-girl scene with a couple, a girl-guy scene with a couple. She was married, pissed at her husband, and did the scene, and then divorced him afterwards. And I was like, God damn. And she was trying to explain it to me, and I'm like, hey, that doesn't come down later, right? That like stays up there. It was one of the transition from happily married to like doing that. And because I was at a Halloween party, and she walks up to me and she explains, hey, I'm sure you heard that I did so-and-so. And I'm like, I didn't hear. Well, you did what?
Like the only
hey, by the way, you know who it is. By the way,
there.
you know her. It was crazy. Like when you see that kind of stuff, it's one of these things where there's a line. Now, obviously, neither of you do this, but like there's this weird line where, on the one hand, you're like, hey, you don't understand, this stays up there forever. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, it's like I keep seeing girls do this, and there seems to be no consequences for it.
There isn't.
Do you understand?
I think that there isn't right now. But I've been saying this, and this is like one of the reasons why I still have not started one, because like I feel like at some point there is going to be an issue where it will become a problem.
I think there's consequences in their personal life that we don't really talk about.
You mean psychologically, or you mean like their relationships with other people?
Like their relationships with other people, and even on the podcast that we talked about last night, like girls not caring that it would affect like relationships and stuff. I mean, it does affect your relationships, and
the amount it affects the pool of men you can choose from, or it affects the actual relationship once you start it?
The pool of men, and honestly, it affects your relationships with your family. If you ever have kids, and making those choices and not realizing that in the future, those relationships that you like affect, it's not just here and now. It does affect your future.
Are you talking about just OF in general, or like doing guy-girl stuff?
OF, like the guy and girl stuff, but OF in general, like the type of stuff you put on there. So you really have to think about that. So when I was doing stuff and I was doing nudity, taking it back really was a relief, like to my mother.
What do you mean taking it back? So you're saying you put nudity up there and then you stopped with the nudity? So you took the nudity down.
So I'm shortly after, like 2 months after I started OF, I ended up meeting a guy, and I absolutely like fell in love with him, and I stopped posting for a while because I had no desire to.
Sure.
I didn't even tell him about my OF because we weren't friends on Instagram or anything, and we didn't make anything official. He was telling me he wasn't emotionally available or anything, but I just didn't tell him about it because we weren't making anything official. I wasn't posting on there or anything. Sure. Well, when he ended up finding out, he was really hurt about it. So then we ended up talking about...
I'm confused. He was hurt. There's no guy-girl content. Was there nudity on your OF at this point?
Yes, but it was past posts.
What does that mean? Past posts?
Like before I met him.
And he was hurt because
Because I didn't tell him.
Did you tell him you didn't have one, or he just didn't ask?
He didn't ask. We didn't talk about it.
He was hurt because of that? That's interesting.
Yeah, just because I wasn't honest.
I can see being confused, but okay, I got it. Okay.
So I did tell him like I didn't feel like it was necessary since we weren't like official, and because
right. That was my point actually. It's like if he didn't ask and you didn't lie to him, like I can understand being disappointed, but actually being hurt seems a little like excessive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could kind of get it, I guess, if he's like hurt for you or something, because some people have like that view, like this view or ideology of the fact that like, oh, you're doing this, like something's wrong with you type of, like you've met like the people that are like, oh, well, like if you're doing OnlyFans, something's up, right? And so like maybe like if he cared about you or something. Yeah,
but
right?
it wasn't in that way. He was hurt like himself, like it was about him.
He just didn't like the fact that you had one.
Yeah, and so I was like, well, I'm willing to talk about this. I haven't like posted since I've met you because I had no desire to. Mm-hmm. And I even like went through and I showed him everything, but then he was like too upset about everything from the past, and like we've been kind of like back and forth ever since. And like I literally like disabled it when we tried to make things serious, but then like we've been so back and forth because of it, and he just hasn't let go.
Okay, so you've disabled it and he's still having a problem with it?
Yeah.
Because he's concerned about what his friends think about it or something to that effect?
Just concerned about his trust issues with me.
His trust issues as in you being with another dude?
Trust issues because I didn't tell him about it in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, of course, you know, I host Access Vegas and I go on Fresh and Fit. The trust issues thing is something we bring up, but the trust issue thing is usually I went to work or she f***ed my friend while I was at work. You're saying, because the thing is for me is like having an OF that doesn't show like nudity, where you've taken the nudity down or whatever, or implied, while I'm sure it's a big deal to some people, it's not as big a deal as like doing the gangbang, right? Mm-hmm. And you took it down and he still didn't trust. There was nothing else. You never like, was there a situation where he bumped into you at Mastro's with some other dude or something? I'm just trying to understand where the trust thing comes.
He told me that I should like date other people because he wasn't emotionally available. So
okay. Actually, this is starting to make a lot more sense, but it's not exactly what you think. Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't think, I think he was kind of looking for a way out before.
Well, then he's still like trying to like stay in my life too.
I agree with you trying to stay in your life, but like what happens is, again, you know, when I say rule number 1, we don't listen to the words, that's both for men and women, right? For men, a lot of times a girl will be like, where are you at? What are you doing? And I'm like, you know, and you respond, and then she just doesn't respond again. She just wanted your validation. Girls will send guys nudes and they're like, hey, let's meet up. And the girl doesn't meet up. That's a girl who just wants validation.
But then I started dating somebody and then he freaked out. And
of course he freaked out because you're not validating it. But the difference is there's a big difference between the man wanting the validation. The validation is like the win. The man wanting the validation versus the man then saying, I am willing to step up and then be in a committed relationship with you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when the further away, the more likely it is from his standpoint that he's going to lose access to you or exclusive access to you, the more he's going to sound like, okay, now I'm ready for a relationship.
No,
Does that sound?
That's what he did.
Okay, so to me, that sounds more realistic of what was happening versus him legitimately being hurt because you had If you had told me I had several different dudes I'd filmed with on OF, I might buy the story. The reason why I'm having an issue with the story is because the idea, it seemed like he could always use this as a lever to get out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or to use against you. As long as you had, even when you turn the OnlyFans off, it was almost like inconvenient for him because then he can't use the lever to like dip. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just guessing here, but that's what it.
Well, you're probably right.
It does. It very much feels like that was kind of a situation. Like a lot of times people in passive.
So I'm doing all this effort and I'm like doing all this for him when he's literally like not even in it.
I mean, Kylie, do you agree with me? Do you think I'm even close?
I mean, yeah, like I have a kind of similar story.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's kind of what I need to hear then.
Yeah, I think that's probably
because it doesn't make sense.
accurate.
It doesn't make sense to me that I'm like putting all this effort and nothing makes him happy.
Just think about this, right? From a man's standpoint, I got bad news for the ladies out there. Women, a lot of times when after they go through puberty or near puberty, you ask them what do they want to be, and they'll say fairy princess or a bride or something to the effect of like, I can't wait to get married and something like that. Men don't do that. We don't grow up. When we grow up, we say we want to be an astronaut, we want to be a doctor, we want to be a firefighter, we want to be a superhero. We don't say, I want to be a groom. That is not something boys grow up to be.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
For us, marriage is something that allows us security, but the wedding is not for the man.
Yeah.
It's for the woman. I think we can all agree, right? She's the one making the decision in the wedding. So when you have that type of situation, what a guy would want is, how can I keep her close enough in an orbit where I receive validation and or sex, but not commit? And a lot of times, I'm not saying 100% this is the situation that you're going through.
He's literally saying he can't commit.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, but like, do you understand? You're putting in all this effort.
Yeah.
But do you understand how convenient it is? It's like you took the OF down and he still can't commit. Now, if it was a situation where it was like he would have never committed, but I'll bet you if we go through his past, like it might be a situation where he was never going to commit with anyone ever. And this just gives him a very easy excuse. You see this oftentimes with couples that are very toxic or passive aggressive, where they'll come up with things like they'll legitimately save things for later to use in order to eject from a social situation or start a fight. Or a lot of times someone in the couple will do something like, well, I can't believe you did this, and they storm out, but they stormed out because they had a date with someone else. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and they're doing that behind your back. A lot of times that'll happen and we won't know until after. There's a lot of dudes really pissed at me right now. There's a lot of future memes that are pissed at me right. Listen, I give the game away to both sides. So that's essentially what's going on. And I've seen guys do this and I've seen girls do this, right? Because that's what we'll do. But people will get confused. They'll be like, no, but he said all these words and he did all these things and he validated me in so many different ways. That does not imply that he wants to be in a committed monogamous relationship. That is not what that implies. What it implies is that he wants the validation. Again, if you had a brother or a cousin, a male cousin, okay, family member, and he came to you and he was saying something effective, she keeps sending me like implied nudes, but whenever I ask her to come hang out with me, she never comes to hang out with me. What would you tell your cousin? You'd be like, she
just wants attention.
She wants attention. She's bullshitting. But in his mind, he's like, no, but she keeps complying by sending me semi-nude, whatever. So that means she likes me. Does that make sense? Do you see how it's confusing? Yeah. How one thing is like words, or in this case, photos, and the other thing is an action. Remember when I had Knight and Bishop, we did the debate, and he goes, Michael, how can you teach men to figure out whether or not women are genuinely sexually attracted to you? And I was like, and I couldn't figure out the question. I was like, why are you asking me this? He goes, how do you figure out if a woman really is genuinely sexually attracted to you? And I was like, yeah, because they have sex with you. That's why they do it. But when people were like, how do you figure out if a man really wants to get married to you? He asks you to marry him. That's how you do it. It's not from reading a book on love languages. People will make the difference from their actions. It's like the analogy I used with you last night when we were talking about people who love their country. Those men who stormed Normandy Beach in 44, to me, they didn't get emotional and they weren't histrionic. They showed their love for their country by being willing to die for it. You show your love for your country through actions. Through actions. Man, the world gets so much simpler when you just remove the words and all the chaff and all the distractions, and you just pay attention to people's actions. Everything becomes clear. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your family or his family have an issue with anything that you do. Has there ever been any complaints about that?
And my family definitely loves to make comments on it.
Really?
Yeah. And my mom, she always gets like the backlashes of it, and she loves to tell me that she loves me no matter what, but that she definitely, like, especially when I was doing nudity and stuff, she thinks I should do better than that.
Kylie, have you had a situation, because it's very different from doing pageant work from doing like bikini modeling stuff?
Yeah, what like with people complaining about it?
Anyone, friends or family?
Yeah, for sure. I get it all the time, every day. I get it for that. I get it for a lot of things.
Just life in general.
Just life. Yeah.
The thing we were talking about before, so the guy didn't ask you to give up your social media. You just gave it up on your own. Was that it? Was it your OF or was it your Instagram also?
Well, I did OF, but like with my ex Rob that I was with after my divorce, I gave up an Instagram for him. He was just uncomfortable with like the comments and everything. So
What kind of comments? Pro or anti?
The guys who would like hit on me and say stuff like that. And to me, it was like, well, what means more to me? And to me, Rob meant more to me than my Instagram. So, but I also wasn't making an income off of that.
Yeah.
There's a way that you can adjust things on your Instagram when you're in a relationship. I believe that there's boundaries, and I believe that relationships are about sacrifice.
Yeah.
So I believe that you don't have to necessarily get rid of it, but you can also adjust things that are appropriate. That's just what relationships are. I know that some girls said that, like, well, he's just not the right one. But if you want to make yourself marriage material, and if you want to be the right one for him, that you should make those sacrifices.
Okay, so that's great. I mean, you kind of perfect segue to what I was going to get to first, which was the concept of, like, you do understand the consequences for either way, right? So we have the liberty to do whatever we want that makes us happy. And if in the short term, what makes us happy is, getting the bag and being on IG and showing off all this kind of stuff, that's fine. But in the long term, we may have to pay the consequences because other people also have the pursuit of their happiness.
Yeah, and they have a right to not be with somebody like that.
Yeah.
Because I had an ex tell me, which actually is my ex-husband, he told me in the very beginning, like, why would I change things just because I'm in a relationship? And I told him, why wouldn't you change things because you're in a relationship? You absolutely should
Men
change
don't
things.
know. I know.
Well, but when I said that, he was
men
like,
are not good at that.
But when I said that, it really, like, triggered a thought process in his head. He's like, oh wait, I probably should. I should make adjustments.
Yeah.
And you should. That's what relationships are. You're no longer just yourself. You're with a partner now. You make sacrifices. If you would want them to do things and sacrifice things to make you happy, you should do the same. And those sacrifices are literally deleting a picture off of Instagram. Come on, really? Like, what's
really more important, the picture?
That? Like
the picture's more important right now?
Yeah, that's really
crazy.
immature. Like, that you're really worried about your likes over, like,
For sure.
If you really care about somebody, then you would adjust some things. You don't have to necessarily delete your Instagram or anything. You can talk about a fair median, because that's what you should be doing. You should be talking about what makes him happy, what makes you happy, and come somewhere in the middle that your guys are going to agree on to make your relationship work.